I have 3 library sessions for my Link 111. So the first session we work with the librarian and we have definitions of concepts. So the students come from different disciplines and they like to work with different concepts. And so the first assignment they have is to find a definition from
dictionary or something.
From the, whatever sources, how to define a concept and how to put it in a sentence. Then they cite the source. And then they either paraphrase the definition or they quote the definition. And then after that, the second assignment was they find supporting evidence for a thesis. Okay, so they have to find 2 or 3 sources.
And do you prescribe the sources that they have to be journal articles?
Oh yes,
books,
yes.
Okay.
It has to be from, one is a book, one is a journal, a published journal.
Okay.
So, yeah, and they cannot use Wikipedia.
They can start with it, the students say you can start with it, but it's a bad idea to end it.
Okay. Any other ideas of how you are already incorporating the traits of information literacy?
In a graduate class, I have students write a proposal for a paper that they'll be doing as a major paper where they basically have to do a literature search and propose a pedagogical argument. So they're demonstrating that they've already thought through the topic enough to move in that direction and find sources to support it. Kind of traditional idea.
Yeah, defining the information which is the first step. These are wonderful. Do you see discipline specific, but do you see from the list here any that you could use in your own work?
Could you explain some of these? What is chart audit guidance?
The big piece for that one was that the nurses had to, and let me know, Cricket, if I am capturing the essence of that assignment. The really important piece of that was that in order to do this chart audit and to apply the guidelines appropriately, they had to have up-to-date, quality, relevant information. So they needed to go out and find information about a particular topic or about prostate.
Well, that was just an example.
Yeah, for example, some sort of medical quandary, and really the evaluation and filtering piece was the important piece of that, because I love that when you said the noise. A lot of times there are articles that, I think, Tony, you were talking about bias. There are articles that are going to talk about the pros and cons, you know. And so really trying to find the best literature that nails it on the head to help them inform these chart audits that they do.
When we were discussing conclusive.
It doesn't give them the answer. Yeah, which means they have to actually think about how their conversation adds to the academic conversation, so, and that can be kind of scary, so, especially as undergrads. So. As you work in your teams and as you're going to go throughout this period, we can keep adding to this list as we go forward. But we will go back to we have looked at and kind of the elements of information literacy that we thought were important, and I just wanted to now introduce you, or to reintroduce for those of you who have already seen these, the ESILI standards for information literacy. This is the Association of College and Research Libraries. Now, maybe heresy. but the booklet that you have, to me, seems very librarian-centric. We've got the standard, and we've got outcomes, and we've got performance indicators, and there's actually another document that that are behavioral objectives. I mean, it's kind of, we beat that horse to death. But, and I really shouldn't say this stuff because I'm being filmed, but I can't refute it later. I can't plead the fifth either. But but one thing that is quite nice as you peruse them, they do give you an idea of what is meant by the large standard in terms of performance indicators, so that you can maybe use that to measure. But we're just going to go over there are 5 standards. Determines the nature and extent of the information need, that's defining the information problem. Accesses the needed information effectively and efficiently, that's that locating and searching that we were talking about, and not just using Wikipedia. Evaluates information and its sources critically, and incorporates selected information into his or her own knowledge base, and that's the evaluation, integration, management, synthesis piece. Individually or as a member of a group, uses information effectively to accomplish a specific purpose. That was specifically, I think, what Christine was talking about, communicating information and being able to communicate it to others effectively. And then the 5th one is understanding many of the economic, legal, and social issues surrounding the use of information, and accesses and uses the information ethically and legally. And that's where the plagiarism comes in. But earlier, kind of in the middle of the room, someone talked about, trying to see, about the creating, but the legal and economic part, and the fact that they need to understand the information, not just the information producers. There was a word.
Info creators.
Info creators, that's it. The info creators. Yeah. Because that's where those different perspectives come into play.
I think we could add to the standards.
You could.
What Alan says is very clever, creating your own information.
Yes.
You know? And that's what we do in our teaching course, where the students have to critique the information and come up with pedagogical implications where they input their own information.
Well, you know, it's interesting. These standards were written, I want to say 6 years ago, and they are now undergoing review, and thank goodness I'm not on that task force. It would truly be a character building task, I think. But they are looking at this through a new lens, and this, I think, is written from the perspective of an information consumer, and so the information producing, the creating piece needs to be added into it as well.
Stephanie,
Yes.
I have a terrible thing to raise, and I know I shouldn't call Amanda saying, shut up, Tony, shut up, Tony.
Go ahead.
This is not correct in terms of its punctuation. And
I am so totally there with you. Did anyone notice the definition that I put up a little while ago?
yeah.
I mean, it is so, I mean, the clauses and everything, I can't believe it.
So it's like,
I know you have an initial barrier there because you can't get past the incorrect grammar.
well, because it's educating people, which is a good thing, but then it's educating them in the wrong way.
Yes. You know, it's like for me, dangling prepositions.
Yeah.
I can't get past the person if they say that.
So isn't that a part of information
It
literacy?
is, you know, it's part of the writing process, and who here is on ACRLIS information section? Anybody a member? Okay, well, darn it. Okay, I'll send something to the
I'll volunteer to proofread
the
it.
task force. Yes. Yes. Which one did you have?
Well, the comma after group, And then the lack of a comma
After
in
individually.
the first one.
Yeah.
And then the lack of a comma after information, because we have a separate clause with two ands.
Wait, the fifth one, right?
Yeah.
The use of, yes. And see, I always think I will comma things up, but, I'm
When you have two separate clauses joined by a conjunction, you need to put a comma there.
Okay. I will let them know that. I will let them know that joyfully. Okay,
So old-fashioned. I mean, just do it.
all right. Let's take a look at our agenda. And see where we are. We have partially looked at ideas for assignments, and that was brought out in terms of what we are already doing, and we'll keep delving into that. This is an ongoing thing, but I think we've at least touched upon it in terms of increasing your own knowledge, and it was about the definition. This one about the different levels of tasks, we haven't quite done yet. We talked about critical thinking, the place of it in humanities. I think when we do the assignment on quick writes, that might surface a bit more with the critical thinking piece. Yes. What background knowledge do students need to engage in this? It was interesting, the videos when we talked about things from a student perspective, they're kind of giving you a sense of, to me it was what they didn't know, versus what they needed to know. So we'll have to keep working on that. How to incorporate it at the point of care. So this is the keeping the up-to-date information. We haven't really talked about this. We teased around this, so we might be able to get to that a little bit more. And how to organize more progressively complex assignments. That's a good one that may not be dealt with today, but when you get into your groups. Those are the two. Okay. There's still coffee out there, and I told him not to take away the fruit. We're going to.
But we only have time for a 5-minute break.
Okay, 5 minutes, 11:06. Spend the time before lunch kind of presenting some more information that will help you to locate assignments, to locate information for assignments for your syllabi. And we're going to start with this Teaching Information Literacy 50 Standards-Based Exercises for College Students. This is the 2nd edition. I have the 3rd edition that's 35 standards, so you guys get these hot off the presses. And there are 2 per department. So what you can do is they have a list of the exercises, and in the table of contents, you can kind of see the direction that particular section is taking, or into which it's going. Like for example, okay, I'm going to bite the bullet and put on my glasses.